Hello! Today we're going to talk about non-action verbs and action verbs. We're going to look at verbs that have two meanings, a non-action meaning and an action meaning. First of all, let's do a quick review of what we mean by action and non-action verbs. Some verbs, for example, run, jump, and eat, these are what we call action verbs. You can show an action very easily. Run, jump, eat. These are action verbs. With action verbs, I could use them in the simple, like present simple tense, like I run every morning, or I jump a lot, or I eat breakfast at 8 o'clock every morning. Those would all be in the present simple. I could also use all those verbs in the present progressive. I am running right now. I am jumping right now. I am eating right now. With these verbs at the bottom, it would be hard for me to show these actions like know or understand or like. Much harder than showing the action for run, jump, or eat. So with these verbs, we call them non-action verbs. With non-action verbs, generally we do not use those in the progressive tense. So here maybe I would say, I know the answer. I wouldn't say, I am knowing the answer. Let's take a look at some examples. First of all, if we look at this picture here, what actions do we see happening in this picture? Some actions I saw, the students are listening to the teacher. They are raising their hands. Look at that third sentence. They are knowing the answer. Does that sound right? It sounds a little bit funny. Does this sound better? They know the answer. So with know, it's a non-action verb. So with a non-action verb, we don't use the progressive, we use the simple. They know the answer. Even if the idea is right now, in progress, they know the answer, we still use the progressive. So let's look at some verbs that have both a non-action meaning and an action meaning. So two definitions for one verb, and for each definition, the grammar is going to be a little bit different. First, let's start with this verb, think. I have a math problem here. I want you to do it in your head. Ready? Go! What was just happening? I could use this sentence. I am thinking about the math problem. What's happening in your head? Wheels are turning, gears are moving. I can hear it all happening in your brain. Your brain is doing work. But if I look at this sentence down here, this is a little bit different. I'm thinking that the math problem is easy. This is not really your brain doing work. This is your feeling, your opinion about the math problem. So here, when I say I'm thinking about the math problem, this is an action. This is your brain doing work. And here, this is your opinion about the math problem. So I'm thinking about the math problem is the action definition, thinking about. And I'm thinking that the math problem is easy. That would be incorrect because that is a non-action meaning for the verb. Here we would say, I think that the math problem is easy. So a review of the verb think. When we use think plus about, that signals that it's going to be the action meaning. And it shows us that your brain is working. Okay? Wheels are turning inside your head. So that's an action. If I use think plus that, and I will say sometimes we don't include that. So I could say, I think that the math problem is easy. Or I can leave out that and say, I think the math problem is easy. So in that situation, it's a non-action verb, so we would not use the progressive. And the meaning there is it's your opinion about something. I think that the math problem is easy, my opinion. I think that this lecture is very interesting and helpful. That's an opinion. Also, it's not so much an action. Let's move on to another verb. And the next group of verbs we're going to use have to do with sense perceptions. So that's how information comes into our brains. Okay? Let's take a look at this first sentence here is the chef is tasting the soup. In that situation, it's an action. We can see the chef go, he's doing an action. But if I look at this next sentence, the chef tastes the soup. This has a bit of a different meaning. And the soup tastes great. In this sentence, is the soup doing the action of tasting? No. So this is someone's feeling or opinion about the soup. So this is a non-action meaning. The soup tastes great, or the food tastes good. So with taste, we have the non-action meaning, and then the action meaning is to try something. Another sense perception, we have smell. The girl is smelling the food. Smell could be an action when we, with our nose, go. The food smells bad. In this situation, the food is not doing the action of smelling. It's our opinion about the food and its smell. So in this situation, it's a non-action verb. So this would not be used in the progressive. Let's try one more. The woman is looking in the mirror. We get an idea, this is the action. Her eyeballs are doing work. But in the second sentence, it's the same thing. The woman looks in the mirror a lot. This is just a quick reminder. Remember, action verbs could be in the progressive. The woman is looking in the mirror. They could also be in the simple if the meaning of the sentence requires that. So because I say a lot, it's her habit or her custom. So then we'd use the simple here. It's the same definition, but with action verbs, you have the option of simple or progressive. With the non-action verbs, it's always simple, not using progressive. So here, she looks good. In that situation, she is not doing the action. It's someone else's opinion. If I say she looks good, my opinion is she looks good. She's not doing the action of looking. I'm doing the looking. So if we're giving our opinion, she looks good, or that looks bad, or you look tired, in those situations, it's a non-action meaning. We would not use the progressive. Another verb that has both an action and non-action meaning is the verb have. So the first meaning of have that we usually think about is when have gives the idea of ownership. You own something, like I have an old car, or I have a cold. So with I have a cold, it's not really ownership, but with certain illnesses, we use the verb have, and it has a non-action meaning. I have the flu, I have a cold, I have the mumps, I have the measles, I have rabies, I have a lot of bad stuff. So, with ownership, have is a non-action verb. With certain expressions, we see have as an action verb. I'm having a party. This would be seen as an action meaning. I'm having a good time or a bad time. These would be examples of an action meaning for the verb have. So it could be present simple or present progressive, and it's just with certain expressions, with a party or a good time, or a bad time. So, today we've talked about some verbs that have two definitions, a action definition and a non-action definitions, and I've given some examples of those in sentences. I hope that helps you to understand a little bit more about English grammar and verb tenses, present simple and present progressive. Thank you.